I'm not sure if I ever will record an episode again where the topic of love is like so predominant as in this one. I have a grape variety today in the glass from Hungary, a grape variety that is closely associated to the wine growing region of Tokaj, where I just have been like a couple of weeks ago, and a grape variety where I always struggle how to pronounce it, like with so many other Hungarian grape varieties. But I try my best. We talk today about Hárslevelű. And Hárslevelű is a very interesting variety. It is in the Tokaj region definitely the second most important white wine variety that we find. Furmint, of course, the most important one. Hárslevelű is what we call for the aromatic backbone of the famous Tokaji Aszú dessert wines. But it is also like a grape variety, that many people who love wine know about, have heard about, but way too rarely we drink it as a dry wine on its own. So let's have a look at it. But before we dive into like a great example of a dry Hárslevelű by winemaker Demeter Zoltán, one of the pioneers of dry styled Furmint and Hárslevelű, and in general like dry styled Tokaj wines, let's talk quickly about the name of the grape variety. Hárs is Hungarian for linden tree, and levelű is Hungarian for leaved. So we have a grape that is named after the linden tree, and this name partly comes from the like round-shaped leaf form that the Hárslevelű variety is actually developing in the canopy. But on the other hand, it also comes from a very distinct aroma that we can identify in the wine, because Hárslevelű, as I said, is an aromatic variety, very often like described as acacia honey-like, but also we can have this like aroma of linden tree, a little bit of like pine needle aromatics, etc., which is very, very typically associated with this grape variety. But let's talk about it later when we have something in the glass. The linden tree is an interesting tree when it comes to European folklore. It has been like a tree at which people like met for like going into court, or also like to sign peace treaties. But more importantly, also like fitting into like today's topic, it has been described often in literature as a place to fall in love with. So good point also like to talk about this wine we get today in the glass, as I said, like by Demeter Zoltán. He is definitely like a legend in the Tokaj region and a winemaker that you should know and taste wines from. Together with István Szepcsi, he has been actually one of the first winemakers really like bringing about dry style Tokaj wines. I mean, Tokaj, this region in northeast Hungary, 1.5 to 2 hours northeast of Budapest, has always been famous internationally for the dessert wines, the Tokaji Aszú. Hárslevelű also plays an important role in this like wine blend for these like botrytis affected dessert wines. But together with István Szepcsi, Demeter Zoltán has been actually at the forefront of bringing out dry styled wines in this region, be it Furmint, but also like here especially the Hárslevelű. And we have actually like a single vineyard wine here in the glass, a 2024 from the vineyard Szerelmi. And Szerelmi, it's a bit difficult obviously to translate it literally, but if we would translate it in the like single vineyard connotation, then it would be the vineyard of lovers. So the love topic all around us, beautiful. If you wonder actually about the name Demeter, because you might think now about the biodynamic like association Demeter, which is popular in, for example, like Germany, France or Austria. Demeter is like in many Slavic countries like Czech Republic, Slovakia and Hungary, not a popular name, but a name that you meet like once in a while, and it basically translates to what the Greek call for Dimitris. Not to confuse with the biodynamic association here, although Demeter Zoltán is somebody who works enormously diligently in the vineyard, a lot of handwork here. He's really like a naturalist, if you could call it in this regard, and really tries to bring out the terroir and the character of each wine as individualistic as possible. Also, his estate is residing in a beautiful house from 790 in the village of Tokaj, and if I'm not like mistakenly correctly, every day at 3 p.m, maybe except Sunday, they have actually like winery visits and tastings there. So when you come to the region of Tokaj and the village of Tokaj, definitely visit this winery and inform yourself beforehand when they have like tasting rounds. Really beautiful cellar to see and great wines to taste. But let's dive into what we have in the glass. So Hárslevelű by Demeter Zoltán, Szerelmi Vineyard 2024. I mean, we can clearly see here that Tokaj is not the coolest wine growing region we can go to. The color is already fairly intense, like yellowish, definitely with some, I want to call it like golden reflection at the side, very substantial, very deep. The wine also has like a stunning 14.5% alcohol, so definitely fully fermented, fully dry in the style, but also like a sign that this is a moderate to even warm climate region, depending on the vintage, where we can bring out grapes to like great ripeness. This is also like, of course, part of the explanation why this region is so famous for its dessert wines and why letting the grapes on the wines until they are like affected by botrytis is so perfectly possibly here, without getting grey rot, the bad form of botrytis, but instead getting noble rot, the good form of botrytis. In the nose, we can immediately see why Hárslevelű is often described as the aromatic backbone of the Tokaji Aszú blend. This is like power, this is peach, this is ripeness, this is, yeah, this acacia honey connotation. Definitely we get this this linden leaf, a little of pine needle connotation, beautiful herbal hints here even, something slight oily in the nose also, so something with substance, something with body, also clearly malolactic, no doubt about that, like some nice Parmesan cheese connotation or something like that in that direction. Demeter Zoltán loves to work also with least contact, so it doesn't surprise us that we have some hints of least contact and autolysis here. Beautiful complexity, I mean what we would expect from a single vineyard wine, also at this price point. On the palate, this is impressive, this is striking. The 14.5% alcohol, yes, we notice it is a highly alcoholic wine, but not in a, let's say, overwhelming way, in a way where it's well integrated together with the oak and together with the fruit maturity, and it's simply fun in the glass. That is something that I would like to sip on with sommelier friends or with somebody who really appreciates wine for a whole evening. This is salty, this is fresh, this is mineral, this is ripe. It's a great acidity structure, actually, great backbone. I must say, this is a wine that really surprises. Personally, there's no secret about it. I always have been a big fan of the Hárslevelű variety since I ever got it as a dry wine in the glass, so I highly invite you to discover it for yourself and try it whenever you get it. Fun side fact, if you ask about the bottle shape, this is a super typical bottle shape that we see for dry, Tokaj styled wines, which I really like, that they actually created a little bit their own trademark here by working with different bottle types and other regions. So yeah, super nice round off and super nice flashback to the small little Tokaj trips that I did a couple of weeks ago. Also, I do some more tasting videos about the 6 different grape varieties that are allowed in the Tokaji Aszú blend. Also a small little travel review of our 3 days in Tokaj. You will find those video links when they're online here in the show notes. For now, I want to thank you for following the journey of tasting 1368 grape varieties. Thanks for tuning in. Remember maybe to like this video, share it with some wine-loving friends, or even subscribe to the channel. Highly appreciate it. And I say cheers on Hárslevelű and many of the other great Hungarian varieties that are yet to be discovered.